If I may come in here, I think Captain Ali disagrees with you on that part.
Well, no, I wouldn't really disagree with Professor Sita. What I believe Professor Sita is trying to say is if you look at the ambience of the people right from the start up to this moment, there isn't really, other than those other few flashpoints, there isn't a generic ambience to resort to some, animated kind of, response or reaction rather to the results, whichever way they tend. And I am looking at these particular elections, the way I am looking at it, whatever is announced, based on what we have seen from day one, there is not going to be that, do I now say, combustion. If there are concerns, I believe the concerns will tend towards a more mature, process of probably even alternative dispute resolution. Because
not even in states where it would seem that we're beginning to see protests.
Yes,
you don't
see,
see that happening as well?
I was talking about this best worst case scenario thing.
Yeah.
For me, the worst case scenario will be, hey, we don't agree with this. We have issues with this. And I want to believe security agencies have already put a game plan on ground to handle that. And at the bottom of that game plan, the last resort of that game plan should be using troops to engage.
Maybe it's that game plan. What would be that game plan?
The game plan for me
to resolve some of these issues.
The game plan for me right now is already we have a very credible list of people we could call in as mediators. We saw them very active pre-elections. You saw the accord that was resigned. You know the two actors to that, Reverend Matthew Hassan Kuka and former His Excellency Abdul Salam Abubakar. We have seen the Sultan of Sokoto register his concerns about elections being, elections being violence-free. We have seen traditional rulers all make statements that actually tend more towards maintaining the peace.
We'll come and look at the importance of that and see how effective it has been on this particular process. Okay. But let's go to one of that area, River State, where Emmanuel Ere is standing by. Emmanuel, it's been hectic and not too good a story we've been getting from River State. Is the situation calmer now, or are they out again on the streets?
Sula, you're right on point. It's been hectic. Just like I said before, that's about when you are able to put your fingers on a particular story. Another one breaks in another part of town. Early this morning, hundreds of women, all dressed in black, were on the streets, were in the streets of Port Harcourt on their way to the INEC office in the city, and they were stopped, or their journey was cut short by the police. Some form of reasoning or logical, maybe you could say, exchange of ideas between the women, the protesting women, and the police went on for a couple of minutes. You could see that the police men of the police were trying to convince the women to send one or two of their representatives to the INEC office, but the women really wanted to go in a group, and the police used tear gas to disperse the crowd when they thought they could not control them at the moment. Well, it didn't come across to many people as a good thing. Many of the women were injured in the process of trying to escape or run away from the tear gas. They decided to move away from that area. Many of them were still under the shock and the horrifying experience and the pain, all dressed in black, gathered somewhere away from the scene. They moved down to Government House as I speak to you at this time. They are gathered in front of the Government House in River State, and also echoing their grounds that elections did not hold in River State. According to them, They were not allowed to vote due to what they call intimidation from other political parties and even security agencies. That is according to them. But what we have seen today is that their protest was cut short and they were tear gassed on the way to the INEC office in the capital.
I think, if I get you correctly, you said initially the police were trying to see if they can get one or two representatives of the women into INEC's office. Why didn't they allow that, have a spokesperson? Because that entire crowd just can't fit into an office for any complaint.
Well, on the side of the women, that would have been a good question for one of them, but it appeared that all of them wanted to go and stand in front of the INEC office. The whole area has been barricaded by the police. Security has been intensified due to reports of attack on INEC offices. So that may be a reason for the police to insist that one of their representatives or two of them should come to the office. But the women felt voices will not be loud and clear enough until they go in a crowd.
But well, speaking frankly here, these are women unarmed, and that from the pictures I'm saying, why? I don't know, were they pushed to provocation to have been tear gassed?
Well, from what I saw, there was no provocation from the women, but I could see that the police did not know how to disperse them. Maybe as women, they were very resilient. They were resolved on what they wanted to do. They wanted to march to the INEC office to make their voices loud and clear. And at that point, well, maybe the security agencies decided to resort to the use of tear gas at the moment to disperse the crowd.
Well, the Rivers State Police Command must be speaking on this now. Any word from the Commissioner of Police, Rivers State?
An official statement has not come from the police commissioner. We've been trying to establish that connection, but we are waiting because we believe that this is a very serious issue that the police should make comments on.
Emmanuel, were you able to get a hold of any of the women to ask why they wouldn't send a representative?
Come again, please.
Were you able to get a hold of any of the women? Did they have a spokesperson so they could explain why they refused to send a representative or two?
Well, a number of the women wanted to talk at the same time. They were more interested in explaining why, narrating their experience, their ordeal, and all that. But that is something I think one of them should respond to. Like I said, as I speak to you, they are still gathered in front of the government house. I have to step aside to take this call.
Well, anyway, we'd like to thank you so very much, Captain Ali. You wanted to hold on on the line. I think yes. Captain Ali has something to say, perhaps that might require yes. Your comment.
It's quite sympathetic and it's unfortunate. I believe we should handle this with kid gloves.
That we shouldn't handle it with kid gloves?
They should be handled with kid gloves.
Oh, really?
Yes, carefully. Okay? Women could be a trigger because women happen to be the center of so many emotions. What I mean is those people you see in there are wives, they are mothers, and for them to have been exclusively women, we may not unrule or entirely do away with the interests behind the protest, having done it deliberately, because when you see women being maltreated, regardless their cause, you're not going to get any favorable, impressions. So I would expect that the police should handle this carefully. I know we have female mopoles. Oh yes, we have like a unit, a standing unit of female mobile police officers. I want to believe if an officer of the mopole who was female had met them, there could have been a common ground. Okay? So, having said that, I also want to appeal to the women that there is really nothing you want to say in the INEC office you can say out there, and the media will assist you in ensuring it gets, because the INEC right now is in, do I call it in intensive care unit, ICU. Nobody can go in there. The sanctity of those offices has to be maintained.